Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Now, I know it's been a long time since I have last posted, but it's okay because I will be locking in. Anyways, let's get right into this video. So, over here in Libya, there's some instability down in this region and over here in this region, as they are both fighting for independence. But also in this spot right here, there's also a fight for independence. So let's go ahead and see what this rebellion will look like. So this northern rebellion will quickly gain ground, even wrapping around the puppet state of the old empire a little. And they even take that major city. Moving on from that rebellion, though, we have the second rebellion, which first grows on the front of the old empire. Wait, what? Not the old empire. Sorry, the Grand Legion. I just saw the purple and I was like, the old empire. And then we will also see this rebellion over here. Now this rebellion is the one currently that has the most traction, and it's the most famous because this major city is bigger than these two, and it's a bigger region that they've already taken. But now we're gonna see the invasions of each rebellion. And the pink one will actually take over a really big amount of land. And then this one, the smallest one, which actually, I'm gonna change these colors. So, real quick, I'll do that. And then I'll grab this color. And then that'll go like that. Oh, wait, no. That will go like that, and that will go like that. There we go. So, this is the color swap. And, yeah. Now we will go ahead and see these guys push into these lands even more. And they're even trying to spearhead down in order to connect up with the other two. And the pink group agrees with this idea to cut off the south from the rest. And so they are currently working towards that. And then the blue team also joins in, seeing how beneficial it will be. And then slowly they all cut off these areas. And then there will be a split of these lands looking like that. And then there will be a split of these areas looking like that. But they will also allow a little entryway for the blue rebellion, just for the blue rebellion to help them out. But yeah, now this rebellion will even start up here a little, and also it will grow more on the border of the Grand Legion, actually fully on the border. I wonder why. And then they will go ahead and take that. And then once it gets to this point right here, is where the other teams start to get hostile. Specifically this one, which goes ahead and starts pushing into the land of the Pink Rebellion, but they do realize it's actually pretty hard too, because, well, they're totally not getting aided by a certain country. And so the blue team tells them that they're getting aided by the Grand Legion. So that country, this one, starts helping out the blue one. And that leads to the fall of the southern regions. So currently they could look like that, which, real quick, okay, it doesn't really follow borders, although I like those borders, but no, they aren't keeping it. But they will continue to push, even taking a little bit of land from the yellow one. And now we see the push of these guys, and when they start pushing into those lands is when it gets serious, like the Grand Legion starts fully aiding them, and this becomes a direct land of the rebellion, not just occupation land that's being occupied. And so now there will be a massive push to take out the blue team. And although it is a wide spearhead and they're branching off in other directions, the blue team had their forces hiding in these true locations. Because they knew there'd be a pushy thingy, a spearhead, and so they ended up taking that over. And now, core land of the Blue Rebellion will look something like this. And these lands are where they are recruiting more of their rebellious forces. But they are now slowly pushing back these guys. And in fact, they're pushing against both fronts, because with their newfound strength of that, they are able to do this. And since this isn't fully main territory, that will fall like that. And then we will see this country herself push these guys back to around there. And then they will say, okay, we only want like these lands, the rest is up to you guys. So real quick, let me draw the provinces for this country. This is this new country. And then, what the heck? And then we will now see these guys, the Grand Legion, actually decide to show it just really them invading. But they do want there to be a new country, so yeah. This will be the color still. But now you just know it is the Grand Legion invading. Which basically just spells defeat for the Libyan team. And before that, this Yeah, all of that falls. But they don't know about it, so they will end up taking that, and then there will be a call for the peace treaty, which, let's go ahead and see. These are the new countries out of this rebellion. And in fact, should I just swap these two? Okay, I'm gonna swap them. No, I'm not. Okay. So, yeah, these are the new countries. And let's give them all capitals, as all countries should have capitals. And if you don't have a capital, I don't know why you don't. Okay. Anyways, we will now see a separate invasion that is just out of wanting land by the country up at the top, which I had called the yellow country, but it's more like beige. And then when they get around there, they're gonna stop because they really just want the true tiles up at the top. So boom, boom, and then they get that, and then boom. So now they have grown by true tiles, and they are getting stronger. And at that point, the Grand Legion just says, yep, we're annexing you. Through war? No. We're just gonna annex you, because you know you're gonna fall. So, this is the new Libyan area, and, actually, over here, we're gonna see a war breakout between who? Well, it isn't just who, it's which countries. And it will be 1, Crimea, 2, this country, 3, the Baltic country, and 4, the the communist Russian country, right? Yes, the communist Russian country. So, this will actually start as the Crimeans attacking the Baltic nation. And this goes very successful for them, as they just continue to push without seeing any resistance. But that's because the Baltic countries' army was not prepared. But now it is, and they are going to push back a little. So they will lose those lands, but then this country will get involved, taking over these southern regions, which goes pretty successful for them. Okay, they don't take that much land, they take that. And now they're mainly just aiding the Crimeans. But now the communists will hop in this war, and this is when the Crimeans start failing because, well, just look at them. They've already lost 2 major cities. But over here, where their army is, will push back the Russians. But in turn, they will get pushed very far back by the Baltic nation, only holding on to this area. But now we will see the Polish country get involved, because they think they can easily take over this country. But they get around that far before, like, Latvia starts invading them. And now, Latvia has already won a rebellion against this country, so, this isn't going that well for the Polish, because now they have to, refocus their troops on that front. But as soon as they do that, which is successful, they lose land down here. And then they end up surrendering. And yeah. Now, this country is involved. And they don't really want the main areas of the Baltic country. They mainly just want this one right here. And they also want this one, which they will fully take. And then they propose a deal to the Baltic country. They will leave the war in exchange for that one tile of land. Not for that one tile of land, for those few tiles of land. And so the Baltic country will accept. But now that will severely weaken them, since they have now lost a good amount of their sea access. And these guys will just continue to grow stronger, because they will take 2 provinces from the Polish. Now this makes them a decently large country, even larger than the Polish country. But moving away from that area for now, Bulgaria and Greece, like lifetime rivals, will start fighting each other again. And then Romania, who was a breakaway from the Bulgarians, are going to push deep into Greek land. As their ambitions look something like that, but that is too far-fetched. But they are going to go ahead and do that, which frees up this northern area. And now there will be a pretty big counteroffensive against the Romanians by the Greeks. Now, the Romanians are weaker than the Greeks, but with the Bulgarians, it's pretty close. And in fact, the Romans want their land back. So they will push into the boot of Italy and will take it. And Greece just says, okay, we can peace. I guess I was being too hungry for land. And now Bulgaria has one more tile of land. And over here, real quick, will be turned into a new nation, which will be known as this country. Which is now a decently large country, although they just formed out of Greece, but they still are very strong. And they will show this by invading this country that is very, very, very weak, and taking it over, as they want it to, their capital, to become their country's capital, which does work. But anyways, moving back over here, there is a massive invasion into the Baltic nation. And in fact, these guys never said they would leave the war forever. They just said they'd leave the war. They never said how long. So basically, as soon as they get their Polish land, they will go back and push into these guys, which leads to that falling, and that leads to the surrender of this country. And now it's just the Russians versus the Crimeans. Now the Russians are stronger, and they are getting some aid from their anarchist ally and this country. So, invading Crimea, or the Crimean country, will not be that hard of a task for them. Although Crimea will still hold up a fight, but it doesn't really look like it because, well, they're just being demolished by the Russians. And in this peace treaty, these guys are looking at hopefully getting that, and then they're thinking of attempting to take over these guys even, then uniting with these guys, so they can look like that, and then they'll also invade these guys. But yeah, that's like their big ambitions. But the one about annexing Crimea almost comes true, but they don't get all tiles of Crimea country. And so this is now what these guys look like. But there is a new thing to look at. And that is over here. Now we are going to be seeing a union between what countries? Well, it's between 4 countries actually, because these 4 have been getting very, very close to each other. And it is these 4. No, I'm kidding. That would make Persia one of the strongest countries in the entire world. But anyways, the actual 4 countries that it will be is 1, these 2, 3, 2, these guys, and 3, these guys. So, actually, no, not those guys. Or those guys, in fact. it's only going to be 3 countries. And that will look like, no, I want this color. That will look like that. Yeah. They've just, like, doubled in size, if not triple. But, now these guys are, like, the dominant force over here. Anyways, we will be seeing this country that I forgot to give a capital to. They will be fighting technically a stronger country, but it won't just be them, as they're gonna fight Blue China by landing in these 2 spots and then getting help from the neighbor of Blue China over here, which makes them combined stronger. And Blue China knows that they will just be cooked, as now they are basically just cooked, and the Pink Chinese, or these guys, will take them. Let's see. Will it be them? Will it be the Pink Chinese? It will be both of them, as the Pink Chinese will now finally get rid of their biggest enemy. But will they fully get rid of them? So, no, they won't fully get rid of them, as this country gets 2 provinces and the Pink Chinese get 2 provinces. And then the Blue Chinese say, you know what, we need protection, we will give you that in order for us to stay alive. And these guys say, okay, deal. But the Koreans give them more money. So in fact, these guys do disappear. But this does go over to these guys, as the Koreans gave them money to, like, invade them instead. So one of the oldest countries in the entire series is now gone. They're gone. But, yeah. Now we will see the rest of the expansion up in these areas, which will be fully discovered. And, there will be large, they are very big, potentially the biggest country in the world. It's mainly between these guys themselves and Pink France, which, low-key, I think it is Pink France. But anyways, over here, the rest of the peace treaty will be, so these guys are now looking like a big little blob. And, yeah. Yes. So, what will happen next? First off, what is that? I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right, the rankings. So, we will see what the rankings will now look like. Number 1, although Pink France has been expanding, this country is a lot more economically prosperous, and that is India. Number 2, though, is Pink France. I need to move this over a little. Number 3, now this will change because it's Portugal. Number 4 is Mongolia. Number 5, Grand Legion. Now, don't get me wrong, Persia is not weak. That's why they're 6th. Galicia is still 7th. 8, though. 8 is Ethiopia. 9 is Great Ankara. And 10 is the communist Russians. So let's go ahead and see what happens now. But yeah, this is the new rankings, and there is 2 new countries on this. Mongolia, which is very, very strong now, and they surpassed the Grand Legion, and Communist Russia, who is the country that took over a bunch of land from the Crimeans and the Baltic country. But that is not where they will stop, as there will be a war between these guys. Now, why are these guys being so intensely aggressive? Actually, no, it won't be against these guys. It will be against the weaker country over here. It's because, well, real quick, yes, they are communist, but they're also becoming expansionist. So they're gonna be communist expansionist. And they easily wipe out this country. But now they connect up to a country, although not as strong, it's economically stronger, not militaristically stronger. So if the Germans wanted to, they could militarize and defeat the communist Russians. But the Russians do have these guys, all on their side, as well as the Romanians and the Scandinavians. So that would go not too good if Germany did it alone. And that's why their main allies are these guys and Pink France. But anyways, over here we will be seeing 3 countries attack Myanmar. 1, Green Malaysia. 2, Vietnam. And 3, Laos. Now, Myanmar, just before this war, had demilitarized a lot. So they can't even really do much against this. They're just gonna have to surrender, which they are starting to militarize with the areas they have left, which are some of their stronger areas. So yeah, and they will fully focus on the Vietnamese. They don't care what the green Malaysian country does, which the Myanmar country likes more than a certain country now called Sumatra. But yeah. And then there will be a peace treaty, and after this, they are moving their capital up here. So they're more of a Thailand country now. And in fact, they just needed that land from Myanmar because they wanted to invade Laos. And in fact, they will do that with ease because Laos is very weak. And now the strongest country in this region is Thailand. Vietnam surrenders. They don't want to fight Thailand because if Myanmar and Vietnam both continue to fight, Thailand will focus on one of them and then attack the other one. But actually, we will go ahead and see another union form. And this union is actually over here between Somalia, that country, and that country actually. Actually no, just between Ethiopia and Somalia. So now instead of their capital being in the Ethiopian capital, it will be in the most prosperous city, which the Ethiopians had just kept their capital there for like historical reasons. But now this is the new Ethiopian country, and Ethiopia will thank Somalia dearly for this, as now they can access this a lot easier. And we will also go ahead and see the Ethiopians, after that union, explore much more of Australia, actually encircling it. And real quick, let me do that. So they haven't found New Zealand yet, but they're close. And they also explore more into these areas. But now these guys will explore a lot more down in this region, fully taking over the west coast, sorry. But now there will be a purple country. like a bluish purple country. And they will have all of these lands, but New Zealand will be also its own country. Let me find a good color. I feel like that color's taken. This color? No, that's like Guatemala. Okay, you know what? That. And these will be these two new countries. And, there's even one more new country over in Australia. This will be Green Australia. And these guys, are actually around 3 times stronger than Java, East Timor, and this Borneo country, which in fact will be invaded by the Pink Chinese because they want to grow their colonial empire. And since they are a lot weaker than a country that just formed, they will be taken over very fast. And now, Pink China, I forgot to add onto this list. So actually, I'm gonna change this in a way. 3B, China. They are actually the exact same strength. Now in terms of what? Portugal, better economy. China, more land and better military. But anyways, I forgot to get rid of that. This land is supposed to be fully taken over. So yeah. Boom. And then yeah. Hokkaido now is one of the larger countries in the world, and we see a potential superpower if these 3 countries united. Now, if these countries united, this would 1,000% be the strongest country in the entire world by far, and it would not even be close. This country would be stronger in economy, military, land, trade, people than most countries. And the anarchists and the communists know this and realize this, and so since they want to unite but they can't yet because they are not strong enough yet that they will be able to keep their unionized empire once or when or if it becomes an empire. Sorry, my brain glitched. I meant if. But now they are pretty strong together. They would probably be, no, after Ethiopia united. Ethiopia, after uniting, would probably be 6th, and then these guys combined would be like 8th. But, yeah, these guys, not even a match for them. They just take them over. But, yeah, these guys, boom. And basically, they just surrender. They surrender. So the anarchists say, well, this should go to me because I'm closer and it will look better than right after we will unite anyways, so it's okay. And the communists say, yep, that is true. And so the event happens. They unite after taking out that country. And yes, they are now the biggest country in the world. Are they the strongest? Well, they're probably around the strength of the Grand Legion in Ethiopia. But, they are just basically gonna go on a rampage now. They're gonna take out a bunch of countries. And by a bunch of countries, I mean like true countries. One wants to unite with them. One is Crimea, and then one is this guy. So, literally, after this though, there will be a massive alliance. It won't take place though. It won't activate until a war actually starts from these guys. Like the next war they start, this entire alliance will join. But now they're around tied with the Grand Legion and Ethiopia directly. So the Grand Legion sees this and says, hey, you're joining us. We need you. And this does send a worldwide panic, seeing how strong these guys just got in that short of time. And they do worry if this actually happens, they could become the 3rd strongest country in the world, and then push up to 1st. So these guys are uniting, because obviously, and then, yeah. So let's go ahead and see the alliance that is supposed to deter these guys. Now, it's really like a coalition actually, but what should I call it? So this will be called REN, and REN stands for Russian Expansion, what did I call it? Russian Expansion Neutralizer. So we will see, first off, these countries, I'll join in. Now, they won't because they're like allies. So, Bulgaria, Greece, Romania, the 3 new Libyan states will join. The Grand Legion, Ethiopia, Carthage, Gibraltar, Hokkaido will join. The tiny Japanese country will join. Thailand will join. Angola joins. Brazil, New York, and Guatemala join. Now, some of the other countries this other alliance will be called the REA, the Russian Expansion Accelerator. These guys are about the Russian expansion. And these countries will just be will mainly be the countries on the Russian border. But also Bangladesh, Vietnam, Korea, Sapling, and these guys, and these 3, and yeah, these are the 2 basically world orders. And yeah. So, this will actually look like something like this. So, since these guys, they are not gonna unite with the Romanians. Since these guys are in it, they will unite and seeing that these guys say, help me, help me, help me. They literally spam the symbol across their entire nation. Like, they're like, we need your army on our border to deter this. Now, the REA, there is actually something that will happen here. That is the unification between these countries. I'm just kidding. It's actually between these 2. No, I'm also kidding because they don't like each other. So, the real thing that will happen will be these 2 countries will unite. And then these 2 countries will unite. So, capital is like right in the center of the country. And these guys, they're thinking about uniting, but instead of uniting, they have a better idea, which will be invading. these guys. Yeah, they think it's better. Which in fact they were right, because these guys weren't gonna allow them in. But in this episode we have dropped the number of countries in the world down by a decent amount, as we've seen one country. Whoa, hold on. What happened over here? Okay, we've seen the country there. What else was it? It was there. Oh, it was the plum country. Yeah, we saw that. We saw the blue Chinese country be defeated. Saw Laos die. We did see 3 new countries appear though, which makes up for boom, which makes up for the countries over here disappearing. We saw these Shu unite. We saw these 4 countries become one. So this happened, so that brings it up true and saves it a little. But over here we've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 countries. 9, actually. 9 countries became one. So in total this episode, we have lost around 13 to 14 countries. Yeah. But that is it for today's episode, and if you liked it, if you liked watching this video, I think you should like the video, and if you want to see more videos, subscribe and turn on notifications. But other than that, I will see you